everyone. Welcome to the Aquarian Mind Podcast. Today's podcast episode number 277. I'm your host, Jamel Crothers. It's Mondays with Mello, and today I want to talk about whether we fulfill our purpose in life. And this is an important topic to discuss. And here's why. We, from a very young age, are programmed, and as we get older, we're indoctrinated into a certain persona, a certain mindset of how we should be, how should we act, what we should buy, and what we're taught in school. We get programmed into this mindset of work in corporate America for 9 to 5 for 40 years, then retire. You pay your taxes every year. You get to get some of your tax return back. All of this, crap, basically, of what life is, and it's really not life. So today's topic is important to ask because I honestly feel that a lot of us don't fulfill our purpose in life. And it's sad, and it's very unfortunate. There are so many of us that have a love and a passion for certain things, but we don't do it. The question is why? Are we products of our environments? Yes, we are. What we see is what we emulate a lot of times, but also what we see is not always right, and we have to get out of the mindset of that's not what life is. Life is more than what my parents did or gave or contributed to society and to me, and it's more of what can I do to better myself and break the whole generational 9 to 5 corporate America grind, right? And I have seen friends of mine who really live monotonous lives. They don't have that sense of purpose. And if you were to ask them what they love or what they're passionate about, they really couldn't give you an answer. The crazy thing is I know what they're passionate about and what they're passionate for. Sports. They will sit and watch the Knicks, the Rangers, the Yankees, the New York Giants. For all of you sports fanatics, you guys know those New York teams. If you don't, it's totally fine. I'm not going to stick with this sports narrative for too long, so just bear with me as I go along with this story. They could honestly go into sports and do whatever it is they love: editing, shooting in the field, being a podcaster. There are so many elements that they can do. They don't have to necessarily work for the huge media companies or like ESPN or Fox Sports or whatever the case is. You can work for the smaller companies and make a good living out of it. Because the bigger companies, they're not doing as well lately. ESPN and Disney are prime examples of that. If you guys know, you know. I'm not here to, talk sports. I could easily tell them, look, what you're doing is not your purpose. What you're doing is working to collect the check. And they're not older. They're younger than me. I'm 40 as I'm recording this. So yes, one's in their late 20s, one's in his mid 30s. It's not like they can't change what they want to do and go fulfill what they want to fulfill as far as what they're passionate about. So I use them as a prime example of they have no sense of direction, they have no sense of purpose, and what they've seen their parents do all their lives is work the grind. And not even in a corporate office. They've worked for, supermarkets and stores and things of that nature. And I know that they have more potential than what they even think for themselves. And maybe it's because like I see more in them than they see in themselves. So it's not like I can sit and say, look, you have more potential than what you're doing right now. I mean, they'll go, yeah, but, and then there's always the but, dot, 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 right? Cool. So then there's that story. I don't think those two friends of mine are going to actually fulfill what they love and what they want to do with their lives. So then there's that aspect. Then there's someone that I know here in Phoenix, and he loves to write and talk about travel. And that's a great thing. Travel's a big, big, big business, obviously. It's $1 billion business. And people love to travel and they love to document where they travel, what they do, what places they see, all that stuff, right? Now, we had a conversation and, I shared my journey, what I've been doing, what I am doing, my websites, all of the work. And there were certain things that he said that made me go, wait a minute, why are you saying that? Why are you thinking that way? If this is what you love and what you're passionate about, you need to go after it. And you need to eat, sleep, and breathe it. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you're going to fulfill your purpose in life, you've got to go after it. Now, will you have to sacrifice a few years of your life to really get to a place where you can do that full time? Of course, we all have to do it. The greatest athletes, the greatest actors and actresses, the greatest entertainers and music artists, the greatest lawyers, the greatest doctors, the greatest businessmen, the greatest writers, the greatest artists. We all have to sacrifice something in our lives to get to where we want to be. There's no getting around it. There's no overnight success. So if you have to work the full-time job, of course, you have to do it in order to live comfortably, not survive. I don't use that term anymore. So I am questioning how much he loves it. Does he love it enough to not be paid for it for the next 5 to 7 years? Who knows, right? Because I didn't get to ask how long he's been doing it, but I will take an educated guess that he's been doing it for a few years already. So I will say the next 5 to 7 years, give or take, is he willing to sacrifice? You got to work your full-time job. Cool, great, knock yourself out. It's what's going to pay your rent. It's what's going to keep roof over your head. It's what's going to keep food in your stomach. It's what's going to keep clothes in your back. Great, cool. I'm doing the same thing. I'm 7.5 years into this journey of what I'm doing, and I'm fulfilling my purpose in life, which is writing books on social issues and bringing forth more conversations. These stories, for me, will forever live on. When I'm long gone, my stories will still be out there for people to read. These books are not for just now in the moment. It's for, like I keep saying, the young kid who's 12, 13 years old that's figuring out life. And when they get into their 20s or get into their 30s, they may come across my book and go, these stories correlate to what I'm going through in my life. So I'm not just writing books for now. I'm writing books for later. And that's why I challenge myself in what I'm doing. Now, back to the person that I'm referring to that loves travel and loves to write, and he gets his stuff published. Great. Now, we're having a conversation, and the topic of, like, I want to revamp my website and all this stuff, and there's all this thoughts and strategy and all that stuff. And for me, it's good to strategize. It's not great to strategize every single aspect of what you're going to do. Sometimes you just have to do things. You have to experiment. You have to try things out. And I try things out with certain things that I record, whether it's on this podcast and whether this reaches you, the listener, right now, or it reaches someone down the road. Who knows? The videos that I do for social media may not reach the right person that it's supposed to right now, but like I said, I'm recording stuff for it to reach people later down the road. So for me, it's longevity and legacy. And I start to wonder if people are, one, thinking about their purpose in life, and two, whether they're going after it to fulfill a longevity and a legacy. Some people will do things just to do it and get it off their checklist of things that they want to do for themselves in life. And there's nothing wrong with that, and that's great. But does that contribute to your longevity of where you're going as far as your goals? Does it fulfill you as far as your purpose in life? And are you going to be able to live with the decisions you made and leaving a legacy to your family? That's pretty much the basis of it for me. May not be for everyone else, may not be for you, and that's okay. But why are we not taking the time to really look deeper into who we are and to fulfill our purpose in life? I was also speaking to a middle-aged man a few days ago. We got to talking about life and the things that we aren't taught. And he started running down a few things, and I started running down a few things. One major thing that we don't learn is who we are as a whole. We get told we're human beings. We get told we're male or female, or, whatever, what gender we are, or whatever the case is, but we're not taught the spirituality of who we are in this world. We're not taught how to explore ourselves in our minds and how our bodies fully work and function. Not only through the food we ingest into our bodies, but whether we work out and whether we keep our minds right, and all of those things. Everything is connected. In a few podcasts back, I don't remember exactly which one, but I did speak on the stresses I was dealing with in my 20s, which, having bad tension headaches, which also led to stomach issues. That was when I started to fully learn how my body really works and how it really operates, and how every single body part and every single organ is all connected to each other some way or another. But we're not taught that. So, is it time for us to really start having conversations with each other about our goals and if we are fulfilling our purpose? To me, I feel like I need to do that for more people. I feel like I am more spiritually inclined to have conversations with people about who they are, what they're about, what their goals are, and what their purpose is in life. I will take an educated guess that about probably 30% of people in this world actually fulfill their purpose in life. In each lifetime that we're going through, I would say about 25 to 30% of people do. Just because people are rich and, have money doesn't mean they're fulfilling their purpose in life. Fulfilling your purpose and money does not equate. It doesn't. They don't mesh. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about whether you're fulfilling your purpose in life. Because pretty much I've written over 50 books. This is the 277th podcast that you are listening to currently. So for me, this is fulfillment for me. Now, do I want to be able to, live comfortably off of what I'm doing? Yes. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to start having commercials on a podcast that's 10 to 15 minutes. I'm not going to start, doing all of these extra things for any amount of money that I can get. That's not me. It's not who I am. That's not my reality. And I need you all to know that. And I'm thankful for you, the listener, the one who listens to my podcast on a daily basis. You are the one who keeps me going. I don't know who you are, and I don't know who exactly listens to my podcast, but I am thankful, because my goal is to always get you to think about life in general, and to get you to have those conversations with your families and your friends about, maybe this podcast or a few podcasts ago or a future podcast that I will have and talk about certain things. And these are the things that go on my mind. For me, these podcasts are fulfilling for me because I get to share what's on my mind. And sometimes I think to myself, maybe you're thinking the same thing, but you don't have the podcast yet, or you haven't written the book yet, or you haven't shared the story on social media yet. Because we all have stories. And when we combine them all, it's what makes life exactly what it is now. With that said, that's my podcast for today. I thank you for listening. As always, be good, everyone, and go accomplish your goals.